Oh, hello, world. Uh,
Hello out there. And Gigi, did you know that we're also streaming to LinkedIn now?
I am so excited. I'm really
I
excited. Excited to be here. Thank you. Excited to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, so welcome everybody in our Facebook group. We've been excited to roll out our new topic this month, which is what we're calling leaving corporate. But I always say it's not only just a corporate job. There are many, many women. I have a couple of great articles. In fact, Gigi, I'll share them with you. Not only articles, but research that's talked about how women are leaving the workforce in droves
Yeah.
mhm,
because of
Yeah.
mhm.
COVID. And so, interestingly enough, there's so many reasons why. Do you see those messages, Maggie, that pop up?
No.
Okay. We're having trouble streaming to Facebook. It may be on Facebook's end.
Oh, I
Yeah.
didn't have that. But
Okay.
I'm looking. It looks like we're going live. We got some people on, but if
Okay,
anyone's
cool.
on and just wants to
Let me
check
just
in.
move on then. They popped up on my end, so I just wanted to make sure you knew since you
Squirrel.
are our navigator. Um, but yeah, back to women and leaving corporate or leaving the workforce.
Yeah.
I mean, we could list thousands of reasons why that's happening. Women are exhausted, fed up. Maybe they haven't ever felt really cared for by their employer. And care for, I meant, the time they need to drop their kids off at the bus, take a break a little bit, run out to a kid's ball game, take time for themselves between cooking and schooling, all the parents that had to school this year, and care for sick people, sick children, sick family members. I mean, it's been a very, very hectic year. And if nothing else, it's made us challenge and step back and say, what's important to me in my life? How do
Right.
I
Mhm.
want to spend my days? Am I being fulfilled? And, I don't know this stat as of today, but pre pandemic, women were opening 1,800 businesses every day.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Every day.
Yeah.
I find that, it warms my heart that women are putting themselves out there and doing their thing.
We're
And
a $14 trillion economy and growing daily.
yes, yeah. Actually, women, that number's been bumped up.
Yeah.
Bumped up. I look at that number all the time. And when I first started, it was 18, and then it was 22, and then it was 24, and I've even seen it higher than that. $1 trillion underserved market. Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
It's staggering.
Yeah.
I tried to get a picture of what that looks like, and it's, you know, like assets under management of the top 5 or 10, biggest financial companies. I mean, it's a huge number. Women are in control of so much wealth and money. Money equals power. And we're always saying to women, leverage your power, use your power. Your
Mhm.
money is your power. So we're glad to be here today, bringing again another one of our expert purse strings approved professionals, Gigi Verrey, not only an expert in financials, but also a chef, which is always impressive. So we follow her and all that she, not only chef, gardener, interior decorator. I mean, this woman, you've got it all going on, Gigi.
Well, thank you. And it's really funny. I was telling Maggie before we jumped on that it's all related. It's like feed, my husband says I feed things. I feed growing a garden is just like developing a financial plan,
Yep.
and making a recipe is so similar to the recipe of your financial life, right? You've got the ingredients, are they good ingredients, the foundation, and then of course you've got the recipe that you follow. And sometimes, an ingredient goes missing or something spoils, and you kind of have to kind of circumvent the recipe, and it's no different in your financial life.
I love it. I love it. You're right. It's all kind of related. So
Mhm.
today, because our topic this month is leaving corporate, we're going to talk about the 401ks, which, many times people, when they start a job, if they have that lovely benefit of a 401k and take advantage of it, that money is growing and it's staying with the organization in which you're working. And if you leave that organization, it's still there. But there are things you can do with do with it. And we're going to learn all about 401ks today from Gigi. We've asked her a lot of questions that she's going to answer. A lot of people did jump on our Facebook and had questions as well around what do you do with these things, right? I signed a paper and some money went in there on a regular basis. I didn't even realize how much it's grown. Maybe they contributed. Hopefully they did a match. Gigi will explain all of it today, but we're Purse Strings. We provide women free online tools and resources to help them make smart financial decisions for themselves and their families. And we also provide a whole cadre list of top tier financial professionals like Gigi who are ready, willing, and able to help serve women, serve the female
Yes.
market. So I'll pass it over to you, Mags.
All right, let's get started by introducing Gigi. Her mission is to understand you and your priorities, to take the time to ask hard, smart questions, to listen carefully, and then to understand in great detail exactly where your wealth stands today and where you'd like it to be tomorrow. She creates a great recipe, gathers ingredients, and monitors success. In addition to financial planning, she manages investment portfolios for individuals and 401k plans for businesses. She prepares retirement strategies that help clients think about, clarify, and establish investment plans and future income sources to achieve their financial goals to retire successfully. And that is kind of what you're here to talk about today. So we're so excited. And with that, I'll give you the floor, Gigi, and anybody else, if you're here, pop in any questions you have, because we got the expert.
Yep.
Let's do it.
Awesome. Thanks, Maggie. Thanks, Dr. Barb. Really appreciate it. I'm going to go a little bit back and forth as I talk about the options you have when you're leaving corporate America or leaving a small business or leaving to go to another success. So what does that look like in terms of your 401k plan? One of the first things that you can do is really a non-action at all, and that is that you can leave your 401k as is at your employer's as long as you have a minimum balance. And that minimum balance is $3,000. And if you have less than that, then you will be required to take the money out. So let's talk about if you decide not to leave the money there, if you have a balance that is lower than the minimum allowed, or if you just want to no longer have that money with the employer, what can you do with that? Well, the first thing that you can do, other than leave it there, is you can just take the money out. You can cash out. This is something that I do not recommend for just a myriad of different reasons. Number one, it is so hard due to government limits to actually get money into qualified plans, whether it's a 401k plan, a simplified employee plan, an IRA, a Roth IRA. There are certain stipulations that the government puts on these plans that actually somewhat minimize the amount that you can put in these plans. In a 401k, though, you can put actually larger sums of money into the plan up to limits imposed by the federal government and limits sometimes imposed by your employer. So that's why keeping money in the 401k, utilizing a 401k makes so much sense. But if you decided you wanted to cash out of that 401k, you are going to pay a 10% penalty. It's an excise tax if you're under the age of 59 and a half or 55 years with 10 years of sort of duty to that employer. So right off the bat, they're going to withhold that 10% penalty that you do not get back. And then the employer is going to withhold 20% that they're going to report to the government as tax that they've withhold for you. Now, on top of that 10% and that 20% that they're withholding, you may have additional tax due when you go to file based on what your earned income is alone, or your earned income along with your spouse if you're married, your significant other. So it could be upwards to 30 and 40 and beyond percent. So that money that you think you're getting in cash can be easily, cut by a third or in half. So please keep that in mind. And just to repeat myself, because it bears repeating, it is so difficult to get money into these retirement plans due to different government regulations, that why not just do your absolute best to keep the money in the 401k? So let's say that you decide that you want to roll the money over. So rolling the money over, rolling is a technical term that means you're rolling the money from a 401k plan to an IRA. Now, if you're leaving corporate America to start your own company, typically it's going to make sense to roll it into an IRA, because that's the easiest thing to do without having to incur any excise penalty or to have to pay any tax. So by rolling it over, you're avoiding all of that, and that money continues to grow income tax free until you go to take it out. And right now I'm talking about a traditional IRA. If you have money in a Roth 401k, though, you can open up a Roth 401k and transfer that money from the Roth 401k to the Roth IRA. You will have to open up two different accounts, though, because they are taxed completely different. If you have a Roth portion of the 401k, you roll that into an IRA that is a Roth protected IRA. And you do that paperwork, and you can do that with your financial advisor. You can go to fidelity.com and open up a Roth IRA as well as a regular IRA. And you'll want to do that beforehand, because you want to have that account open, unless you already have an IRA or Roth IRA open. And so by having it open already, you'll have the actual number of the account that will allow you then to complete the paperwork that most likely you'll be able to find online at your ex-employers to transfer the paperwork. And typically you can go to, whether it's principal.com or American Funds or Vanguard or whomever the 401k provider is, you can go to the website and you can do a drop down under forms and grab that form and complete it. And typically what will happen is they will send you a check, and that check will come to you. It will come to your address of record. Depending on the 401k provider, they want to make sure that you are in receipt of the check. And by doing that, then you just deposit it into your 401k, whether it's Vanguard or Fidelity or Schwab, etc. 9 out of 10 times, that is what the 401k provider will do. Sometimes they will give you the option, though, of transferring it or wiring it into an IRA. But typically know that it's standard procedure for them to send the check to your address of record, which leads me to the next point. If you decide that you are going to move the money into your own IRA, be sure that your address of record, your PIN, all of your information is up to date. So if you recently moved, what will happen is that 401k provider is going to put a hold on the account or will not allow you to transfer the money until they have that updated record of that new address. So that's something very easy to do as well online. You can go ahead and print that paperwork. Typically they have you print it because they want a wet signature and then send it on, and they'll have a number for you to email it to or fax to. So sorry to get so granular, guys, but I think these are really important things to consider, because here you finally have the time. You've got the kids at school. You're sitting down and you're stopped because you don't know what your PIN is, or you've just moved and haven't notified the provider. So that's what you want to have set up when you're going to move your 401k, whether it's a Roth 401k into a individual IRA that is a Roth, or the traditional IRA into your own traditional IRA that you have. Okay, so that leads me to the next option. let's say that you are on to a brand new success and you have, you're now working with another employer, and that employer has a great 401k plan. You're comfortable with it. You like um, accounts that you are able to invest in. So the ability to then transfer, that's the technical term, is transfer, from your 401k to another 401k is almost as simple as I mentioned before in transferring the 401k or rolling over a 401k into an IRA. So in order to transfer from your ex-employer's 401k to your new 401k, you simply complete the paperwork at the ex-employer's 401k. And again, you can go to the website, make sure you have the PIN, make sure that you have the address of record updated, etc. And you'll do the drop down. It's usually under forms. And you'll do the drop down and it will actually ask you all the information. And oftentimes, though, more likely than not, it will actually transfer directly to the 401k plan. So, for example, Fidelity, I think Vanguard might do this too, but Fidelity for sure does it. They're a big provider of 401k plans. They actually will you can even call them on the phone and give them the new 401k information, and they can wire it directly into that 401k plan. But typically it's as simple as just following the steps on the form in order to do that. Let's kind of, as I mentioned, I'm going to go a little bit back and forth because those are the main things you can do. You can cash it out, you can leave it, you can transfer it or roll it into your own IRA, or you can transfer it into a new 401k plan, right? So let's talk about why you might want to leave it at the current employer and why you might not want to leave it. Some of my clients have said, Gigi, I just want it out of there. I'm not comfortable with management or the way the company's being run. And then I've got other clients who say, you know what, I'm really happy. It's doing great. And then as their financial advisor, I take a peek at what their fees are. What's the advice? Are the funds actually being watched? Is there an investment committee? Most smaller employers may not have an investment committee or folks that are actually watching the funds from day to day. Your larger employers usually will, because there are corporate governances that actually overlook what should be happening in a 401k, especially if they're over 100 employees, right? So one of the reasons you might want to move is because you're uncomfortable with having the money there. And it could be that you want more control over the way your money's being invested. So if they had maybe 10 different options, they had some bond funds, and they had some S&P or the Dow Jones fund, and you thought, I really want to get into real estate, or I really want to put my money in, ABC, right? And you can't do that, and or the investment options are limited by your current employer. That would be one reason why you might want to move to the IRA, right? Or to the other 401k plan if you believe that they have better options for you. So it just gives you more control over your money. The one thing, though, that you want to be considering are the fees, right? If you're going to if you work with a financial advisor, such as myself, I'm with GCG Financial in Deerfield, Illinois, or work with your trusted advisor, you want to make sure that the fees that they are charging you to manage your funds are affordable, that they're not out of place, that they make sense for the amount of money that you are going to be investing with that advisor, right? So those are some of the considerations that you want to keep in mind when you are thinking about moving your money. the one thing that I encourage you to do is not just move it into a money market and forget about it, right? There are just many, many different scenarios, but the one scenario I can tell you, and I don't have a crystal ball, and I can't guarantee anything, and the government keeps a very strong um, sort of blanket over what we can and can't say. But the one thing that I can guarantee is that the strong companies of the United States, the strong companies that are international and global, like Nestle and Ciba-Geigy, excuse me, and some of the tech companies, they are going to continue to succeed and grow. And the best way for you to take advantage of your IRA, your Roth IRA, your 401k is by taking as much risk as you can stomach, right? While you're through the accumulation phase or getting ready for your retirement, whether that's in 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, or 40 years, right? So it's really important that you take control of your money and that you make sure that your money is diversified, that your investments are diversified, and that you're in control of your money, right? So I think that's one of the most important things to consider when you decide whether you're going to keep your money where it is or if you are going to move it into an IRA, a Roth IRA, or another 401k. So I think that's the most important tidbits that I would leave you, or I would tell a client if I were talking to them on a one-to-one. Maggie, are there any questions that we can dive into?
Yeah, definitely. So I know you were just saying about how if you transfer and you work with your financial professional and you want to make sure the fees are okay.
Right.
What's a good fee, or what's a low fee, or what's something that's way too high where you should say no, 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 no?
Yeah, unfortunately, I've seen some of those no's. So it can be all over the board. So you can buy a mutual fund that has a 6% load through a broker. And by the way, I'm not saying any of this is bad or good. I'm just, as an investment advisor, I work a little bit more, I work a lot more differently than a broker, right? Or broker dealer. So when you go to work with an investment advisor, a wealth manager, and you have a sum of money, there are two ways that you can be charged. The first way is with a commission. And a commission is charged by folks who have typically a series 6 or a series 7. And what that does is they will charge you, let's say you're going to move $100,000 into, there's something called a load or a commission, and it can be anywhere from 3% or 6% of that initial deposit. And you might be like, oh my gosh, wow.
So like loading up the account, so you have to pay for it.
Right.
Makes
now,
sense.
When this might make sense, though, is if you're just going to throw, I'm just using 100,000, I'm just making it up, but if you're going to put $100,000 in the market and you're never going to do anything with it again, you just want it to grow and you're going to leave it and you're not going to put to it. Now, after that 6 years, there's no more commission, right? So you're only paying typically the very low management fees, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not saying that's bad at all. I'm just saying it's a different model. It's not my model. My model is, and most investment advisors, we have the same model, and that is where we charge the same fee every year to actively manage the portfolio, where you take that $100,000 or that $250,000 or whatever it is, and when the market starts to change, and it makes sense to be in a little bit more small company versus large company in the United States, we make those small tweaks.
Mm-hmm.
And it's typically about a 1%, and it's a 1% plus there's a small, let's just call it 1 0.15%, because that covers all trades without getting too technical. Sorry.
It's all good.
I go down these rabbit holes because I like more information is better, I think, especially for women. And I have to personally, for myself, when I have to read my recipes twice, right? Just to be sure I'm getting it all. And I think that when you're in this investment advisory, you have to also make sure that your advisors, that the fees that they're charging you, that those fees are declining fees, right? So as your balance presumably goes up, we're hoping.
Ideally.
That balance goes up, what happens is you are then being paid, you're paying less fees, right?
No.
So that's really important. And that's called a declining fee schedule. We could probably do a whole Facebook Live on what to look for, right, on this too. And then the other thing, to answer your question a little bit more fully, Mags, is what you can do is you can also do this on your own. You know, if you're like, hey, I love this, I'm enjoying this, or even if you're not, right? Let's say you've got like just a small amount, like $2,000 or $500, and you need to get it out of that employer's plan, right? You can transfer that. You can open up that Fidelity account that I said, and you can just buy an ETF. You can buy an electronically traded fund. I hate acronyms, you know that, but ETF stands for electronically traded fund. And what you can do is you can buy one ETF, right? You can buy one group of stocks that only owns the Dow Jones average, or only owns the S&P, and usually there's zero charge.
Oh,
For that, right? There aren't any loads for that, so that's what I would recommend if you're just starting out. But if you want somebody to help you out, you want the portfolio to be a little more dynamic, then that's when you would pay someone like me to watch your portfolios and to guide you to retirement.
Awesome. And so I think we can kind of like pull from that when you do these investments, it makes sense that you pay somebody else to kind of do it, because they're going to keep increasing your profits, and then they'll just take a little bit, but it's still worth it to have somebody else do it sometimes, especially when you have so much more money. It kind of cuts the cost of your fees.
Right.
And so, like, since your job is to keep earning the money and you get more, the more, you take my money and invest it. I think people can really realize that it's not like it's worth investing in somebody else to invest for you.
Right. And but not everybody feels that way,
Agreed.
Right. Some people, they're like, hey, let me try it. In fact, a lot of my clients come to me after they've tried it. And,
I wanted to try it.
Yeah, and I tried it, and Gigi, I'm just more comfortable with having you guys, you watch it for us. And then there are others who just love it. They look at I just say, don't look at the market every day. I mean, I have the ticker going right now, but I have to. But don't do that. Just enjoy your life in general. But to each his own. I think that if you're curious about what it's like to work with an advisor, interview them. Ask the hard questions. How long have they been in business? How much money do they manage? That's really important. So if they manage, okay, so I manage $52 million, right? But I have 50 clients. I have 50 households, and people come and go, they move, they retire, they leave us. But that's usually about my average, because what I can do is I can be on the phone. So when Susan calls, I can pick up the phone and, hey, Suze, what's going on? How can I help? Well, I'm a little nervous about the market. Well, let's talk about that. So you want to make sure that whomever you're going to work with, the advisor, doesn't have such a big book of business that they can't be there for you, right?
Right.
Sometimes, we have a death in the family, or somebody's trying to sell life insurance to us. And, you just want to talk that through with somebody. And your advisor should be that person that you can talk these things through with.
Exactly. We even talked to one of our widows last month, and one of the first 3 people she called was, her parents-in-law, her own sister, and then her financial advisor. And her whole question was like, will I be okay? And of course, then he, even came to the funeral. Like it's such a bond and such a support right there, which is really, really great to have. They're not just another stingy person taking your money. They can really be on your team.
Yeah. And the other thing that happens with us as women, and I hear this, honestly, Maggie, I hear this every day. And I've told Dr. Barb the same thing. Like, he just, I just didn't even understand half the acronyms that they were using. And so that happens. Sometimes folks they're not trying to talk over your head. They just are so used to the language that they forget that you guys don't know what a blah, blah, blah is. Half the time, I don't know what a blah, blah, blah is anymore. I have to ask some of our vendors. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Mm-hmm.
So don't. I've been doing this for 30 years, you guys. Don't be afraid to ask the questions. If there's something that you're not understanding, chances are that these folks don't even realize that they're using these acronyms.
Definitely. Any job that you go into always has their own set of acronyms. And like your E&J means different than my E&J because I'm talking about designing clothes and you're talking about finances.
Right.
And so then another question for you, Gigi, is that if you have your 401k with your employer right now, are you paying is the person paying any fees on that, or is the employer covering those fees?
It's usually a combination of both. Sometimes the employer will pick everything up, but that's very, very seldom.
Mm-hmm.
I have about, with my money under management, that first number that I quoted you, that $52 million, that's not including 401k plans. On my 401k plans, I have another large sum of money that I manage, but that is with different employers. And the larger employers will tend to pay more of the fees. And the fees are set up in a couple of different ways. So again, I'm going to get a little granular, so I apologize. The first fee is usually the per head fee. And that's, so if you have 1,000 employees, they may pay $10,000, right, for that. Mm-hmm. Typically, the employer will pay that fee. The second fee are the underlying fees of the funds. And if there's an investment committee and they're doing their job, those funds are going to be some of the lowest fee funds in the plan, because that's what we do. We scrub to look at not only are they good quality funds, but are they relative to their peers? Are they affordable, right? Mm-hmm. So typically, those underlying fees can be paid by the employee or by the employer, right? Oftentimes by the employee. And that's why I was saying earlier in today's talk, when you are looking at the funds that are available, and you can either keep the funds there or move them to your own 401k or to another 401, your own IRA or another 401k, it's really important that you understand the fee. And the fee in the prospectus, and guys and gals, you can just jump on the website as well, and you can always look at the individual funds and their fees. So that's something that is mandated. That's something that's full disclosure that you can look up.
It'll be right there on the page, the fees and how they're and what they are.
It's usually a drop down. It'll be under 9 out of 10 times. It'll be under investments. Under Fidelity, it's definitely investments. I think investment choices under principal. A sense I don't remember, but anyway, you do that, and you'll click on that, and they'll give you the not only what are the top 10 holdings of each of the funds, but what are the fees, what's the risk tolerance, what's the Sharpe ratio, which is a measurement of risk, and it'll give you that information.
Awesome.
There's one more type of fee.
Let's hear it.
As the advisor fee. So when I'm running a 401k plan and I'm spending time to do a quarterly meeting, and we're zhuzhing up the funds and we're taking care of the funds, we will charge 25 basis points of the total assets. And 9 out of 9 times, almost 99.9% of the time, the employer pays that.
Oh, so, awesome.
Yeah. So typically it's going to be, because they don't want to be doing it. They don't want to just have it be willy-nilly. And so typically, in short, or to make it a little longer, you're usually paying the underlying management fees as the employee.
Got it. And then my last kind of question for you is, since it's all about leaving corporate, what if I'm leaving to part-time? Is 401k deposits and 401k matches typically something that's provided with a part-time employee, or is that very different, iffy?
Okay, I love the question. It really depends on the hours worked. There are some strict guidelines. So if you're part-time and you're going to work more than 1,000 hours, you most likely will be included in the 401k plan.
If you're going to work over 1,000 hours, like with that company?
Right, for the
Got
year.
it.
But there are some other stipulations. But that's something, if you're going to move to part-time, what I would do is absolutely talk to HR. Or if there is, if you have that 1-800 number for the sponsor of the plan, Fidelity or Vanguard or Principal, you can also call them and ask them to tell you what the rules are for that plan. I mean, there are specific rules and laws that are mandated by the federal government. And then on top of that, in terms of whether it's a safe harbor match or a regular match, what the rules are. But the reason you want to call and talk to HR is, let's say, I'm going to make this up, but let's say you want to work, 10 hours a week, but you can, if you bump that up to 12 hours a week, then you're eligible for the 401k, right?
Right.
So have that be a part of your financial planning, have that be a part of your plan so that you understand if it's just a little bit more and you can make it happen with your life, that maybe it makes sense to do that, to be able to continue to contribute to the plan.
Definitely. Yeah, that's great advice, especially if you're just kind of on that border. For sure. Because you want to keep funding that, even if you're at your job, not at your job, part-time. I mean, it's something that we want to continually fund, which I think sometimes we do forget if it's not being directly taken out of our paychecks. But it's something that we want to always keep funding. And so no matter how many hours we work, we definitely want to keep filling that pot.
A lot of people who are going part-time for whatever reasons, to raise a family or just to have a better work-life balance. The other thing that you can do is, if you're not eligible for that 401k, definitely open up a Roth or a regular IRA. And if you're under 50 for this year, you can put away $6,000, and you can do that up until 12/31. But don't wait. I mean, do it now, because these fund companies, they are so inundated right now with financial planning and folks like us, putting money into the market. Even though it only takes a few minutes online, I would do it sooner than later. Put it on your list of things to do this weekend, even.
And it's great because you can kind of set it and forget it. It's not like, you change your job, you look at it again, but it's not like we need to look at it every day of the week or almost even every month. You can if you want, but you don't have to move anything. You don't have to touch anything. You just kind of write it out.
Yeah. And you can even set it up so they'll take money from your bank account. And, put that, you can divide it by 6, $500 a month, or do $200 a month. And the other thing that I would be remiss if I did not say is that if you decide to leave the workforce, raise a family, and you have a spouse who is working, as long as they're making they're making enough to cover that $6,000, which hopefully they are, otherwise you'd still be working, right? You can actually open up and fund a spousal IRA.
And I know Barb's just going to be pushing this one. She loves the spousal IRA. Everyone we talk to, she's all about the spousal IRA. And I think just to share with our community, that's so important, because if we're working at home, we're not funding our 401k typically anymore, which is a lot of loss of money, because like we always talk about, time, a lot of just having your money, build over time is so important. So if we're not putting it in, it doesn't keep building. But also, if you do end up getting divorced or something like that, you have the funds of your own. It's not like he has all the money in his 401k and you don't have any. You've been growing yours, because working as a mom is a full-time job.
I did it. I do it. Yeah.
And as Gigi, I mean, you have older kids, so it still never ends, which is super fun. But yeah, you want to keep funding it. You want it to grow over time, and you want to make sure you have money to your name. You're supported for your own individual retirement.
Well, absolutely. And the government, this is a good thing they're doing. They changed the RMD, the required minimum distribution age, from 70 and a half to 72. And now legislation, it hasn't passed, but they're thinking about making it 75. And they've also taken away any income limits. So you can make $1 billion and still put the full $6,000, $7,000 if you're over the age of 50 away. And so that's a good thing.
Awesome. That's awesome. Let's see if Barb has any more questions here before we wrap up.
Well, you know what I say? Louder for the people in the back about the spousal IRA.
I agree.
It's so important, and not a lot of people know about it. And I was telling a friend of mine, and she was just, her jaw hit the floor. And she's like, my sister's going through divorce. My friend's going through divorce. How come we don't know about this? They could have had money. You know, they could have had some savings for themselves. And, you know, when you make that, you know, decision for yourself to leave the workforce for whatever reason, if you have a spouse who's working, you know, set that up as a contribution on your behalf, which is so important. And I learned that from you, Gigi.
I'm glad. Can I throw one more thing out there about divorce?
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
Okay, so you're divorcing this guy, but you're still married. You can still do that $6,000, or if you're over 50, $7,000 spousal, even though you're going through a divorce. So negotiate that deposit into the negotiations.
Awesome tip. Yeah. So, well, thank you for answering all our questions about the 401ks, because I know a lot of people are like drooling. Oh my gosh, I have this, you know, 5, 10, 15, 20, $50,000. I'm leaving the workforce. I can take that money and I can start my own business. Yeah, but
please don't.
Yeah, look at all the amounts of penalties you're going to pay, right?
It's stunning. It's stunning. And the thing is, it's not just the penalties. It's like the goose that laid the golden egg, right? So you've got this money, you've got it in a 401k. It's growing without taxes until you take it out, unless it's a Roth. If it's a Roth, it's like golden, because you don't pay tax on it if you've had it in the account for 5 years.
Yeah.
So it's like, do you know how hard it is to get money qualified, all y'all? It's like intense. So why take that out and mess it up? I promise, I can't guarantee anything, but I can promise that you will have more money than whether you took it out and started that business.
Yeah.
Whatever else, because you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like a good idea at the time, but by not doing that, and your long-term self will just do the happy dance when it's time for you to retire, and you have that money there that you did not take and do whatever with. Not to say you shouldn't start your own business. There's other ways to get money to do that. It's not with your 401k.
You can probably use your 401k if it's large enough balance as a deposit or as collateral. For your business.
Okay. Just talk to a financial professional. They're more than willing to help you out.
Yeah, everyone has their own unique situation. And these are the questions that you need to parse through and look at your own unique situation and what you want to do and where you want to go, and set up a plan. So that's
absolutely. And if anybody has questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm here to help.
Yes, you are. Always. Well, thank you so much, Gigi. This has been so informative. All your little tips and tricks, and I've taken some copious notes. So we'll put our little one-pager together, and we'll have it all bundled up with this recording. If anybody wants to share it with somebody who couldn't, make it here today, I'll let Maggie take it from here.
So thank you again, Gigi. We love having you on here. You can always reach out to Gigi at gigi.berry@gcgfinancial.com. She's also one of our Purse Strings approved professionals, so you could reach out to her from our site, pursestrings.co. She'd love to answer any of your questions. And we will be here all month, talking about leaving corporate. So we'll have topics about how to keep up with your retirement as you're moving through that transition, tips to know about shedding those golden handcuffs and kind of to know when you're ready, and really in planning for or kind of going into your next step, if you plan for it or not. So we have all these different topics to bring you, and we'd love any questions and help you along the way if you're planning on leaving corporate. But we thank you again, Gigi, and we'll have this recording and the one-page handout all posted by tomorrow. So we'll see everyone again Thursday.
Thank you so much, guys. Have a wonderful rest of your day, everybody.
Hi, everyone.
Bye.